Hi guys, welcome to this video about what's important if you buy a new computer mouse. So of course it's important to know what your needs are. I mean, not the design, but really where will you need it? How often will you need it? Is it for a child, for an adult, for a recreational gamer? Is it for a pro gamer? Is it for, yeah, so a lot of different needs, and so it will have a huge impact on the mouse which you going to buy. And there's a huge range for mice. They start a little bit above $5 and they can easily go up to 100 or $150. So I've been in the market to buy a new computer mouse, and it was only between about $10 and $50, and I've tried a lot, and I hope I can give you some advice. I have even found some things which other people don't cover in their reviews. So let's talk about a few things. So ergonomics is a really important thing. So it has to be really a good fit for your hand. I have something special, but let's see, I have it here. Yeah, that's a very special computer mouse. It looks absolutely awesome. When I go a little bit wider up so you can even see the name, it's the Onikuma computer mouse. And yeah, you don't have to write it down. I will put down the links for all the mice, so whatever you like, you can buy it. There are a few really interesting things, and I will list it up in the description, so you will have the name and the direct link to Amazon if you want to buy something out of this list. So that's the Onikuma gaming mouse. It's an absolutely awesome mouse design. It has some special features. It's a dual mode mouse. Um, but the most important thing is really the design. If you look from the side, hope you can see that like you see it here. Yeah, unfortunately we can't make it bigger, but you can see it's some kind of, it looks like used, uh, like copper or something like that, used metal. It's definitely plastic, but it looks like metal. It's really absolutely gorgeous mouse, but it has a few heavy disadvantages. So it has these sharp edges. If you can see, yeah, here, yeah, it's difficult to to point with the mouse when I'm have the magnifying lens on. So anyway, you see this thing here, this round thing here. It has some really sharp edges. So maybe you can see like really along here. It's the thing which is uh, it stands a little bit out and it is quite sharp. It won't hurt you, it won't make you bleed, but over time you can definitely feel it, depending on the size or the shape of your hand. I've seen some people have no problem with this mouse. Some people have problems. So, and it's hard to find out when you have to order if it fits or it does not fit. But it can really hurt if you have, like, let's say, wrong size hand. Then it can really hurt you. So this is one thing, and most of the other mice which I'm covering now, they have quite good ergonomics, they here's a special thing, I'll cover that later, but most of them are really similar. They have a good ergonomics. So this is actually really important. If the mouse won't be used for an extended period of time, you can let aesthetics weight more heavily in your decision if you would like. So if you are a graphic designer, PC gamer, or a long-term user, however, you should stick with what's comfortable and not what's pretty. And this is really something. Yeah, this is here. It's extremely tempting. It might fit for some people, but not for everyone. So what's also very important is one of the most important thing I think, apart from the ergonomics, is the tracking height of the mouse. So this is something which is not described. So usually there's when you have description on Amazon, they describe the DPI level or the polling rate. Here we have the polling rate, or they describe how it's connected. Here we have two different connection possibilities. We have wireless and wired. So usually computer gamers are using wired, and wireless is more comfortable but not as precise and not as responsive usually. And so wireless is usually for office users and wired is usually for gaming users. But I've seen some tests where it was exactly opposite. So they have made tests and the wireless was reacting better than the wired, which is a little bit strange, but it can happen. But as a rule of thumb, usually wired is more accurate, faster, more responsive, and you don't have to worry about battery. So that's another point. Some of these mice require a battery, some do not. So usually the rule of thumb is when you have a cord or a wired mouse, then you don't have a battery. This is an exemption to the rule, but it's a really yeah, it's a special or awesome or yeah, unique thing. It has a battery, but it has a built-in battery. You don't have to replace batteries. The battery will be charged with the cable. So it has a micro USB cable, and while you use it wired, it's not only the data is flowing through the cable, also the mouse is being charged by the cable, and then it holds a charge for up to I think 720 hours. So that's really unique. But the problem is when the power is gone, when the battery is empty, you can't just open and replace it with a new battery. You really have to put it on wire in the wired mode and then use it like this. Is a problem? It's a very interesting thing. It's a really unique feature. So you have to decide if it fits your need, if you can handle that, if you like wireless, but you don't mind when the battery is used up and you have to switch to wired. If you don't mind, yeah, maybe it could be something for you. So, but usually the battery means yes, it can fail. I mean, when you have a gaming mouse and you have a wired and you have no battery, it cannot fail. It can't be that just within the game it doesn't work anymore. So if you have a wireless mouse or yeah, when you have wireless mouse, so yeah, regardless if you're using a rechargeable battery or normal battery, it can run out of battery and I mean destroy like your best game of your lifetime. So that's regarding wired and wireless. And wired means usually normal cable. It's not a micro USB, it's just fixed attached to the mouse. This is something special where you have the micro USB which you can unplug or replug. Usually it's really fixed like this one. You can't unplug. It's just here. There is another thing which I want to show you. Hope I can find it. Oh yeah, it's actually the one here. This has a dual mode too, but it does not have the dual mode here doesn't mean wired or wireless. It means it has two wireless modes. It has a wireless mode with 2.4 gigahertz, and so it has a dongle. I hope you can see that. I think it's usually in the mouse. There is a cover lid where you can put it. Yeah, unfortunately we can't see it here, but on the back, I mean at the bottom, there's a lid you can open to replace the battery, and there's also this dongle here. That's like a standard with every wireless mouse. You have this dongle, these such a like a nano dongle, and you just plug it into a USB port on your computer, and then you don't have to make a setup. It just will connect. This one does either work with this dongle or with Bluetooth. You can use it also with Bluetooth. That's a really nice thing. If you have a small laptop and maybe you just have one USB plug and maybe it's already occupied by your keyboard or hard drive or whatever, and usually you have Bluetooth anyway, and that's a good thing. So you can use this mouse with Bluetooth connection and store this dongle into the mouse, and you don't have to use that, and it doesn't eat up another USB plug. What you have to be aware, the Bluetooth connection is usually a little bit unstable, so it can easily drop out sometimes, especially when you're on standby and then you wake it up, and sometimes it takes a couple of seconds till you have connection again. It doesn't have to be a huge difference. It doesn't have to be a huge pain, but it is a difference. It is definitely a difference. With such a dongle, you have a super stable connection. With Bluetooth, it can be a pain. Usually, it's working good, but sometimes you have to reconnect and those things. But it can be a good thing with such a mouse. If you have, let's say, you have two computers, you have a small one which you want to operate with Bluetooth, and you have maybe your main computer which you want to use with the dongle. So you just need one mouse to control both of your computers. So you have this button here, and with long clicking, like I think it's 4 seconds or so, you switch between Bluetooth and the 2.4 gigahertz mode. So you can yeah, just press here and then you can switch between the two computers and both operate independently. So that's a good thing. So that's another option. One other thing is the tracking height. This is something nobody will tell you about. You won't find any information here. As already told you, you have always the DPI settings, which you sometimes can adjust with these buttons, or you have the polling rate, which is between 500 and 1000 hertz, I think. I don't see it here. Probably it will tell you here. Can't see. Yeah, here. It has a 500 hertz polling rate. What does it mean? I've seen. I can't advise you on this. I have not seen any difference. Some of my mice have 500, some have 1000. I haven't seen a difference. Probably higher is better, but I haven't seen a major difference with that. But the the thing which nobody writes about and nobody tells you is the tracking height. What does it mean? So usually when you go with a mouse to the side, let's say you go from left to right, and you run out of space at the end of your mouse mat, you have to lift it up and then take it to the side. Maybe I can use the camera. Hold on a second. So unfortunately the camera is not working. Probably it's because I'm screen recording and then I can't start the camera in between. So anyway, um, so anyway, so for every now and then you have to lift your mouse to reposition. Either if you run out on the side of space on your mouse mat, or you just have to feeling that you from going left, right, up, down, you're not centered in the middle of your mouse mat, and then you lift your mouse up and you go to the side, and the idea is that you just reposition the mouse, but not the mouse pointer. You want to leave the pointer the same point. You lift it up and reposition the mouse at another position. So, and the really important thing is that it doesn't move your pointer. So, what happens when you have an expensive mouse? When you just lift it up by 1 or 2 millimeters, the mouse will stop tracking. When you have a cheap mouse, they tend to still work even when you lift the mouse up by a couple of millimeters, up to almost half an inch. So I don't know why this problem is. Probably the more expensive mice, they have an additional sensor to track the height or something like that. So this can be a little bit annoying and you have to do some extra work. It's not super critical. um, if you have this problem, it's just every now and then a little bit of more work or a little bit annoying. It's not a killer feature, or I mean a killer which prevents you from buying probably, but you have to know there is a difference, and it can be a difference, and it's not described. As rule of thumb, uh, if you buy like from Microsoft or HP or something expensive like the Razer or Logitech or yeah, Redragon, this one, they have a really fine adjustment. You don't have to lift them up by almost half an inch to reposition without the mouse without repositioning the pointer. So if you buy something like this or this or this, you will definitely have more, you're more prone to having this problem. And I can just from testing I can say this mouse has this issue and this mouse has this issue. All the other mice like this one and this and this one and this one, and yeah, they don't have this issue. So did I close? No, no, I'm still here. So yeah, okay, it's just another thing a lot of people are not talking about, but it is as it is, and it makes a difference. So what's also a difference? It's when you just look at the picture, you don't see the size. You have to check for when it says travel. When it says travel mouse, so usually it's much smaller. So here we have a couple of these Microsoft wireless mobile mouse, or something like this, travel USB mouse and mini travel. Sometimes they say mini, sometimes they say travel. When it's written travel, just be really careful. It is probably a small mouse. So, and it will fit for children, but not for adults. What's also important, the material on top, it can be like a hard plastic or soft plastic. This is here, it looks like soft plastic, but it's still hard plastic, but it has a little bit of grip, so that's a little bit better than non-grip, but it's still nothing compared to like something like this, which has a little bit of more grip and it's almost like rubber, but it's actually still not. Yeah, here on these, yeah, with this mice I have here, there's nothing with rubber. Maybe I can find something. Hold on. So at the moment I can't find any of these. Maybe they don't make it anymore. I had a couple of them, but I've stored them in a hot, like in the garage, in hot and humid environment, and the rubber coating dissolved. So that was not a good thing. Anyway, what also it can be important. I don't know. I mean, it can give you an indication how robust a mouse is when they say how many clicks they can endure. Some say 5 million, some say 10 million. I'm not sure if they have it here. Yeah, if you read through that. So I think about 5 million clicks is about standard, 10 million is a little bit advanced, or yeah, but anyway, probably it will last long enough, and the yeah, other things will break before. But I had it with this mouse after 4 years. I mean, but 4 years of using it, almost, no, not 24 hours, but 8 hours a day. So the um, main clicker broke, and I don't know what it says, how many million it has been tested, probably for 10 million, can't remember. So anyway, so but it was such a good mouse, I just ordered another one of these. It's an absolutely awesome mouse, and even when I didn't use these numbers, I mean, I was planning to use that, and maybe I will use that for gaming one day, but still without that, it's an absolutely awesome mouse. It's super fast, super precise, super comfortable, super. Yeah, it's one of my favorite, and especially for this awesome price. So it's really good thing. Um, of course, this one is still advanced compared uh, to the red one, to the Redragon. This one, the Razer Death Adder. This is not for real professionals, but close to professional gamers. So wanna, if you're looking for a the real thing, so yeah, um, you're probably a good with this thing. This is absolutely awesome. It has adjustable lights, adjustable DPI. It even adjusts to the game, and it's super comfortable, super precise. So yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's the most expensive. So, but usually it is, when you pay more, you get more. So, and this is also the thing in this case. So the DPI setting, I don't know how many people would use the DPI setting. When you see a lot of these mice have DPI settings, they range from, I think, 1000 to 20,000, or 20, even 24,000 DPI. I have to say I've never used the DPI setting. Um, yeah, the thing is, just usually when you have different DPI settings like here, you can adjust them with these buttons. Same here, it has a smaller button, but you can go up and down. Here, same thing. It changes the color. So with some of these mice, it is then uh, assigned. So one color is assigned to a specific DPI setting. As you can see here, the red is 3200, the blue is 6000, um, green 4500, and so on. This is because you don't have an additional mouse driver. You don't get a program where you can set color, like color effects, different colors. Yeah, usually they have this breathing effect where color is the color is coming and going and coming and going, and with this mouse you just have the breathing effect, and you have the colors based on DPI, so you don't have any software to adjust. It is as it is, so it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So you anyway, you know which color has which DPI setting. Here with this mouse or with this mouse or with this mouse as well, you get a software and you can adjust the color to any, like any color to any DPI setting. You can say, okay, the red color is 1200, or the red is 6000 or 10,000 or whatever. So it has a little bit more functionality, and also they have additional functionality. They, like this mouse, they don't have, this doesn't have only the breathing mode. It has like a flickering mode. It has also a steady color mode. So if you like really a lot of different settings, that's one thing to go. The PicTech, it's yeah, for the price you get even a mouse pad, so it's absolutely cheap for what you get. The only thing is it has this tracking height problem. Is it really a problem? I mean, I don't know how many times you readjust your mouse on the mouse pad, maybe 10 times, maybe 100 times, but over time you will get used to that you have to lift up your mouse a little bit higher. It's not a deal breaker, I think. So yeah, so definitely if you want to have advanced features, you need something which has a software, additional software. But of course, additional software means your computer will need additional CPU power. Not a lot, but just a little bit. If you are already short on CPU power, then it might be not the best thing if you buy such a fancy mouse which requires an additional driver on the computer. Yeah, just for you to know, maybe it really can cost you a little bit of computer power, but of course it has additional features like DPI features, the color features, and some have also macro features. Especially this mouse here, it has some macro features with different profiles. So that means um, you can like program automated, small automated things, um, which can help to, yeah, I mean, it when you have some automation, it can help to do things faster or be better in gaming or whatever. But it's not super easy. But for maybe for juvenile or yeah, really advanced gamers, it might bring some advantages to your games. So I actually almost forgot to show you the most interesting mouse of all of them. This is not a real mouse, this is a trackball. So trackballs have been very famous, I don't know, can't remember, a long time ago, 20 or even 30 years ago. At the beginning of the computers, the track balls, the balls themselves, they were usually really, really big. That was usually like a really huge ball with small buttons on the side. Now it looks like, I mean, they look almost like a normal mouse. And first I thought this is a normal mouse with an additional trackball. But I figured out when you look at the bottom, it does not have a laser sensor, so it doesn't track movements. And anyway, these rubber pads are really super soft and they stick on everything really hard, so it's not possible to move around, and it doesn't help to move around. The only thing which you can move around is your tracking ball, and the idea is to move this thing around with your thumb instead of moving around the whole mouse. And at the beginning, I was really surprised. I was just looking for a new mouse, and I thought saw this, and I thought, huh? These times are gone with the tracking ball. Is really somebody buying a tracking ball these days? And it seems like they have these things have been really improved and perfectionized, or I don't know how it's called. It has been really made better than in the old times. You can see it from the front. The buttons to press are the same, and it also has the wheel and back and forth, same, but it's just instead of moving it around, it has this trackball uh, which you operate with the thumb. This one is the like Logitech is one of the famous companies to have this. It's the cheaper one for the M570 for $24. There's also a much more expensive one. I think it's called MX something. You will find it when you look for Logitech tracking ball. It's I think about 70 $75 or something like that. And it has a little bit even better ergonomics. I think it's a little bit flipped to the side, and yeah, it's a little bit better, and it has different connections. It not only has the 2.4 gigahertz, it also has a Bluetooth connection, so you can even control or operate two different computers at same time or alternately with same mouse. So I really thought this is just a like something like fun or a joke or gag or something like that. And but I then went down to the reviews, and if you see that, yeah, here you can see that it has really awesome reviews, and it seems like it's not based on incentives or something like that, like other reviews where they promise you a free mouse mat or something like that when you do a review, and then usually you give a 5-star reviews that people are happy and sending you the mouse mat. And uh, I mean, this is really no incentive, just based on honest reviews. I think Logitech would never pay people to buy to make fake reviews, and so this is an absolute awesome review statistics. And I've been reading through everything, and a lot of people say, yeah, they have had problems with their arms, and so they had to use something like this, and they even tried to or started to build special shape things. I mean, to flip it on the side, you can put it on something like this, or you can buy the MX version, which has a similar thing without having these cushion things. So there are other people doing same thing. Somebody has even constructed a 3D shape thing like here, where you put it then on the stand. And so a lot of people, usually older people, I mean, when you're 15 or 20 years old, you don't have problems with your arms, with your hands or whatever. So when you get older, after 50, 60, 70 years or so, yeah, it's life. You tend to get more problems just over time, like materials wear out, we as a human we wear out. It is like this, and yeah, we have to deal with that. And if there are solutions, then we can use that. I mean, you even can push this ball from the bottom out to clean everything. It looks like this. So it's a really good thing when you have problems in your hands or your arm, or yeah, whatever. It can really help. A lot of people have said, yeah, it's my second trackball, it's my third, it's my whatever. When it breaks, they buy a new one. So they don't change to normal computer mouse. They won't only stick with that. So it's the one reason why you might consider something like that, and it really works. I have bought one, I've tried it, and I have to say it really works, but you have to get used to that. It doesn't take super long. I mean, you can start working right after 5 minutes. It's not a huge deal, but the first couple of days you will be a little bit slower than with a computer mouse, and even after 10 days or 100 days, you will be still a little bit slower and less precise. But it's on the other side, it's a little bit of fun when you get used to that and you can really scroll really fast, so you don't have to do everything on your own when you accelerate really fast. So the ball, it turns on itself, and when you go in the right direction you save a little bit of work. When you go fast and it goes from itself to another direction, can be a little bit of fun, almost like a game, a small game what you're doing. So the one thing is really it helps you when you have pain or something like that. The other thing is, which helps, is when you have situation like here, which I have a small space. This is my alternate computer space, and it's really limited. On the side, there's definitely not enough space for a normal computer mouse. I would have to operate it here, then I had to move the keyboard on the left side, and yeah, it worked somehow. But I was a little bit disappointed with the trackball for as a replacement for my normal computer mouse, because I was a little bit slower. I compared this. You can watch my other video. I've made a comparison, like a small game, like it was a challenge between normal computer mouse and this tracking mouse, and of course the normal computer mouse was always more accurate and a little bit faster, but it's not much, it was just a little bit. And as a normal computer mouse I always wanted to have, yeah, I want to be fast. I do computer games, and so it was not my thing, but a lot of people say it's good. But for me it was a really good solution to have a really good mouse here on this small space. So here, on this small space, it definitely beats this trackball, beats the or yeah, it is better than the normal computer mouse. Definitely you can work over a couple of hours and it's still good. You don't have to readjust the position and so on. And the thing is, what I noticed, when you don't have the computer mouse like here, normally you have computer mouse like here, and then you have exactly this edge where you have your wrist, and your wrist is one of the most sensitive areas of your hand and arm, and somebody can be a little bit of pain around here. And when you can operate a mouse from here, a normal mouse you wouldn't operate because it's hard to move it around. When you have your full arm on the board here, but the trackball you can operate from here, and then what you have on this edge is the middle of your arm where it's more soft. You don't have the bones and the joint and the veins and whatever, all the sensitive parts. You don't have the sensitive parts here. The sensitive parts are here where it's flat. So it can really be really relaxing. Now after a couple of days or even weeks, I really enjoy to work for a couple of hours here on this workstation. That's a really important thing. If you consider buying a new mouse, maybe a trackball could be your next mouse. So when you see this, don't laugh at it. Don't think it's a silly thing. Maybe it could be the right thing for you. Think about that. Read the reviews and maybe you just try it out. You order one, $24. It's not much. If you don't like it, you can, if it really it's really not working, you send it back. If you think maybe it's working for my alternate workplace, then put it there. So it's really not much. And yeah, I mean, I really like it. It's one of the hidden gems of the computer mouse area, and you really have to think about that. There is just one thing, or like say one negative thing, apart from the fact that you might be a little bit slower than with a regular computer mouse. By the way, there's a feature which you can activate. Here's the thing: when you go to your mouse settings, that's the enhance pointer precision. That's really highly recommended when you're using a trackball like the Logitech. Just turn this thing on, enhance pointer precision. That's a really important thing to do when you're using that. So apart from that, you are being a little, or might be a little bit slower, or maybe a little bit less precise. There's one thing to consider when you thinking about buying the Logitech trackball. You will operate this with your thumb. And when you're a heavy smartphone user and you're texting a lot with your smartphone, not only reading, but when you're texting a lot, the part of your body which is used or stressed the most, that's also the thumbs. So let's say if you're doing half the time a smartphone and half of the time you work with your computer, then if you have a trackball, then always the most used or most stressed part will be your thumbs. And some people say, yeah, already the high usage of your thumbs with a smartphone can be a problem, and here there is additional stress for your thumbs. So I don't know if this could be a problem. I haven't I haven't heard, or I haven't read something about that. It might not be a problem. When I started using that, for me, it was a little bit unusual, and so I had to concentrate, and I was a little bit almost like cramping on my thumb, and I was feeling like little bit of pain on my thumb. But over time, I got used to that, and I think now it's much better, and I'm at a point where I can really enjoy using that even when I'm also a heavy smartphone user. But it could be something. I just wanted to point out this thing as well. So, now I think I have covered almost everything. Maybe there are additional features which I haven't covered, but I'm now using computer mice in 30 years, and I've seen so many computer mice, and I've been on in the market to buy a new one. I've checked so many reviews and read through instructions and everything. So I think I have covered now at least most of the most important topics. And anyway, if you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.